Hi, everybody. It's Debbie Stanley. Thank you all so much for attending today. We're going to get started in just about 1 minute. In the meantime, let me know through the chat if you have any questions or any challenges getting in. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I still see some folks trickling in, but I want to be conscious of everybody's time. Like our webinars, our monthly webinars, we try to keep them tight to 30 minutes. So I'm going to dive right in. So why do you exist? Building that case for support. The reason this topic came up is I've been working with several clients over the last couple of months, and what I have found time and time again is that their case for support has shifted, either because of COVID, because of a change in their audience, but they're not quite as focused in as they need to be. And by really kind of pulling back and starting with that fundamental work, we're able to improve their fundraising strategies. A little bit about me. I've been in this work for a long time. Um, I'm a CFRE, but most importantly, I'm an expert in development and nonprofit technology. I'm a very tactical fundraiser. So I'm really looking and packing those stories and packing that mission. I'm a generalist in the fact that I don't focus on grant writing, I don't focus on event planning. I focus in on helping you be successful with your fundraising. And that's why we started the Nonprofit Success Group. At the Nonprofit Success Group, we can do anything from um, really looking at your overall fundraising strategies, helping you execute on new strategies, um, review that case for support, make changes. We do board training, communication planning, reaching out to donors in the right way. We can be an interim staff for you, that gig economy. Just let us know what you need, and we're here to support you. We believe that nonprofit consulting should be tactical. We're not talking heads that just tell you what to do. We're going to actually show you, help you. That whole adage of teaching somebody to fish, uh, that's what we do. We're going to teach you, train you, help you so that you're able to not need us anymore. Our goal is always to put your mission first and foremost and help drive your fundraising from that. So with no further ado, we're going to jump right in. So one of my favorite books of all time is The Giving Tree. The tree knew exactly why they existed, but it also knew that it had to change its purpose over time as the needs of his customer changed. Now, there's a lot that we can learn from this. He's still rooted in his mission of being a tree, but there was a myriad of different functions that he did over his lifetime. Yet we rarely follow that same advice. Marie Wilson founded the White House Project in 1998 to help get more women elected into office, in specifically to get a woman elected to the White House. But when they came close to their goal in 2008, a mere 10 years later, they were hit with hostility from the parties, hostility towards female voters. Um, and so their best bet didn't come until 2016. By that time, they had run out of funding and had closed their door. They spun off another organization, but they never reached their mission. Now, CORE, pardon the ugly clip art there, the Congress of Racial Equality was formed in 1942 and hit its stride in the 60s, founding dozens of chapters all across the country. But towards the end of the 60s, as the civil rights movement kind of hit its crescendo, um, the fight for racial justice moved into the courtrooms and out of the public eye. Energy was pumped into organizations such as the NAACP, the ACLU. So CORE was really edged out by more radical up and comers. A lot of pundits and a lot of experts say that they didn't pivot fast enough. They didn't revise their case for support to reach the new audience. In another instance, Malaria No More feels like they've completed their mission. The charity actually announced plans to close its doors in 2015, but keeping its options open in the unlikely event that the advances against malaria were reversed. What's interesting is that they're still open. I believe that that is because President Obama proposed a $200 million increase in malaria funding, so they stayed open to chase those dollars. On the other hand, there are some great examples of organizations who have done it right, who are still in existence because they pivoted. I hate that word, but it's important when we're looking at that case for support. Why do you exist? You know, there's a number of AIDS organizations who have moved to more service-based models versus research and cure because people are living longer with AIDS. I was talking with somebody last week and she said so many AIDS patients didn't have gainful employment for a long time, so they don't have retirement income. So now they're in their 50s and 60s with no way to retire and no great job prospects. So housing, food, bare necessities. So they've moved their mission to work in that service area. American Lung Association, when vaping and e-cigarettes became so popular over the last few years, they've now moved from their anti-smoking to anti-vaping and educating the public on the dangers of vaping. I really like the story of the Veterans of Foreign War. For the longest time, it was known as this old man's drinking society. But with Afghanistan, the Iraqi war, and these foreign wars still raging, they've moved to introduce programming, to introduce um, um, solutions for younger veterans in order to meet that need. They saw that their why changed direction. And that's what we've got to look at, the why. I love the quote at the beginning of Simon Sinek's book. There are leaders, and then there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or influence. Those are the ones who inspire us. Whether individuals or organizations, we follow those who lead, not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow those who lead, not for them, but for ourselves, because we have this desire to make a difference. There's a number of great gems in this book, and I'll talk about some of them throughout this presentation today. But one of the best ones is if you start with the wrong question, if you don't understand the cause, the why, then the right answers will steer us wrong. So are we asking the right question? Does your mission statement inspire people to act? You know, Peter Drucker, in his landmark book, Managing the Nonprofit Organization, he lays out mission comes first, but that mission must inspire people to act. You know, if we look at the Lung Association, we see a world free of lung disease. That's great, but does it really inspire you to act? A lot of hospitals use our mission is healthcare, but it's not. Hospitals take care of illness, so their mission really is illness care, but that doesn't inspire people to act. Your goal is to convert that mission statement into specifics that can be short-lived, might change dramatically over time. What you don't want to do is to make that mission statement into some kind of hero sandwich of great intentions. Now, how do you do that? How do you keep your mission statement from just being this conglomeration of jargon and fancy words? One of my biggest pet peeves, and I share this quite a bit, and I promise you, once I share it, you're going to see it. I want to cure blank, one blank at a time. I want to cure homelessness one family at a time. I want to cure animal overpopulation one donkey at a time. I want to fix plumbing issues one toilet at a time. That makes me crazy. And it is not inspirational. It's not aspirational. It just is, ugh, makes me crazy. Now, how do you figure out what the right question is? Well, you got to ask. First and foremost, your first step is to ask people what they think of your mission statement. You want to be careful not to lean on your own assumptions. Many times we're going to make decisions based on what we think we know. I believe your mission, the very essence of why you exist, is too critical to be left to assumptions. Now, I love inspirational quotes. I love this. Be who you needed when you were younger. But bear in mind, these are not mission statements. These are simply raw messages. A strong mission statement is going to explain three things. First of all, why your organization exists, whom it serves, and how it serves them. Now, these are some examples of some great mission statements. Charity Water, they're touted as one of the top nonprofits in the country. This is a very crisp and clean mission statement. It says exactly who they are, whom they serve, and how it does that. I also like, Heifer International. Again, why they exist, whom it serves, and how it does it. Now, conversely, this is more common. From the Museum of Modern Art, to collect, preserve, study, exhibit, and stimulate appreciation for and advance knowledge of works of art that collectively represent the broadest spectrum of human achievement at the highest level of quality on the service of public and in accordance with the highest professional standards. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Well, I think everybody on the call today would agree this doesn't work. It's too long, it's too full of jargon, and it really doesn't inspire anybody to act. The mission statement test should hit all 5 of these criteria. But remember, your mission statement's only words. More than a mission statement is required. It's easy to establish a lot of ambitious goals, devise strategies. It's equally important to take action and bring those goals to fruition. You have a purpose. Now time to make a reality. But these 5 steps will help you get there. Does it read smoothly? Can you remember it? Every single one of your board members should be able to quickly articulate your mission statement. Seek feedback. We're going to talk about that more. When you read that, at the end, if you say mission accomplished, does that make sense? If there's no clear endpoint, you may be too vague. And this I cannot say enough, is gauge the ambiguity. Is your mission statement another one of those one at a time, next one at a time, the next one at a time? Is it too similar to other organizations that have a similar mission? So first of all, we want to understand who are your customers. The pushback I normally get around customers for a nonprofit are we don't have customers, we have stakeholders, we have users, we have participants. Those are your customers. Those are the ones who are invested in what you're doing. Now, why are they invested? Are they invested because they need you to cure cancer? They need you to do a paradigm shift in the thinking of the world. They need you to keep your doors open. So who are those customers? Also in Drucker's book, he does a deep dive into really understanding who are your primary customers and who are your supporting customers. One of the organizations I'm working with, they are a horse rescue organization. So their customers are really those horses. Those are the ones that desperately need that organization to stay afloat. Then they have supporting customers. Those supporting customers are the police department, border patrol, humane societies who can't take horses, the donors, the board members. Those are the people who support that mission. So as you're devising that mission statement, that why you exist, think about why you exist in your customers' minds. Also in Simon's book, he talks about the golden circle. You know, and I really love this as it starts with that what. Everybody knows what they do. You know what you do, what programs you have. But is it built on the why? Why is a purpose. It's a result. It's the reason you exist. The how drives out of that why. So why does this horse rescue organization exist? Because if they didn't, these horses would die. How do they do that? How do they ensure the safety and sanctuary of those animals? And then what programs are in place to make sure that happens? You know, that the how might include your values, your strengths, how you differentiate yourself from other organizations. So this is how you're going to dive into building that case for support. Is you're trying to articulate that how so that you're generating behavior. If you articulate your how directly in response to your why, you're going to generate an emotional response in those stakeholders. Now, it's fairly easy for most leaders or organizations to articulate what they do. They're the products, the services, the programs. but it will only engage with the rational part of the brain if you articulate it in terms of the why. Why is it important? Why is what you do important to those customers that you serve? So again, knowing your customers and understanding why it's important to them, how you do it in support of that why, and what you do in support of the why. Now, in Drucker's book, he believes that your case for support needs to answer these 5 key questions. What is that mission statement? Why do you exist? Then the transition statement from the mission moves into performance. Who are you serving and why? This is probably one of the areas that most nonprofits don't pay a lot of attention to. Yet it changes. Think of my example of the AIDS organization. The needs of their customers changed dramatically over time. Same thing with the VFW. The needs of their constituents has changed because what they value is different. You know, your customers may be the general public. In the case of a museum, I know we've got a couple of museums on here today. But what type of people are they that go to museums? Why do they care that you exist? What do they value about your existence? Is it your free Wednesdays? Is it the fact that your programming stimulates general discourse, general recourse, general conversation? What do they value? And then what do they hope to achieve? You know, there's a ton of conversations going on, especially here in California, about the homeless population. How do we solve the homeless? How do we get these people homes? But if you ask a homeless person, they will seldom tell you that having a home is going to solve their problems. There are many, many, many other things that they value more. And then finally, the meat of the matter. What are your results and how are you going to get there? These 5 points, they set up the core of your case for support. Now, always when I do these webinars, I hear from folks, this is great, but how do I get the time to do this? I'm going to go through a couple of steps next, but on the line today, we have organizations large and small, but we all have one thing in common: not enough time to get done the things we need to get done. But I would challenge recrafting your mission statement and your case for support doesn't take that long, but it could have far reaching benefits. Within 30 days, you could have a brand new case for support, brand new mission statement, and be raising more money. And it's a great time to do it is over the summer in conjunction with your board retreats, all of that. So first things first, what do we do to get started? Well, revising your mission statement is an all hands on deck proposal. So you got to get your board on board. So what you'll need to do is bring your group together. Now, it's always great to have an impartial moderator or consultant such as us to keep things moving, to keep the ideas flowing. You want 10, 15, up to 30 people who care about the organization. You're going to break up into small groups and then start sharing. What we're going to share is why each person is a part of the organization. What is their why? When was the last time you asked a board member why are they involved? I just had a great meeting yesterday with a couple of fundraisers, and one of the ladies shared a great story about why she had chosen this organization, and it was interesting. It had very little to do with the why of the organization, the mission statement. It had to do with her why. Her why was she felt needed. She felt valued by the organization. And she shared her experiences with other organizations. She shared the stories of the times that she's tried to bring value to organizations and hasn't been able to do that. Conversely, I had a board member in that meeting, and she shared how important the mission was to her and how one sentence in the case for support resonated with her. So now that we've got this, we're going to pay attention to those recurring themes. How are these statements being answered? What are the whats? What are the hows? What are the whys? And we're going to write all of those down. Then we're going to take it and put it into that mission statement. Now, once you have that good mission statement, you want to test it. So create a survey, make some phone calls, send it to the top donors, send it to stakeholders. Then reconvene your group, revise, rework. It's important to know, as I said earlier, that your mission statement is simply a bunch of words, but they should be easy to remember, they should be articulate, they shouldn't be filled with jargon, and they should say why you exist and whom you serve. And once you're there, it's time to expand to the full case for support. Now, let's be honest. Our case for support serves a primary purpose, and that is to help us raise more money. How we deliver program, how we articulate our impact, all should be designed in that case for support as a fundraising document. It's not your strategic plan. It's not your program statements. It is designed to help you raise money. So who are you? Why do you exist? What do you do in support of that mission? And how do you impact your customer base? Once you've got that full case for support done, pick a core group of 10 donors, board members, prospects to read it and provide comment. There's a great saying in fundraising, if you want a dollar, ask for a dollar. If you want an impact gifts, ask for advice. This is a great time for you to bring that case for support, that 2 to 3 page document, and ask people for advice. Ask them, does the story flow? Does this make you want to support us? Does it answer the why we exist? Now, again, we don't have time. But this is a great time to ask for the help you need. Ask for your board members to do more. Ask for volunteers. Ask for help. Bring in a consulting group such as us. As a fundraiser, you've got a lot to do. A good case for support will check every single one of these boxes. It'll help you acquire new donors because your why is important. It'll help you retain donors because you were thoughtful and intentional. and help you broaden that base. We're a gig economy. There's all kinds of support that is out there to help you create surveys, to help you moderate this type of board mission exploration. So you can always bring in a volunteer to help. Of course, you can bring in somebody like us. The goal is to get it done, to understand that your mission statement when you started your nonprofit may not be the same mission statement that your community needs today. Now, in honor of that, we are offering a very special program where we will rework your case for support, including the surveys, that moderated session. We'll do your message testing with a broad audience. We'll help you with that mission statement refinement. It'll take us about 4 weeks, soup to nuts, and we'd be willing to do that for $1,500. That's a deep discount for most of our services, but in honor of those who see this as an important part of your work, we'd like to walk alongside you to help you with that. I've gone a little bit over time, so I'm going to ask you to put any questions in the chat. And anybody who wants to stay on, please feel free as I answer those questions. Otherwise, please contact us if you want this type of help, if you want this type of support, or if you simply want to take advantage of this offer. Really grateful for everybody being here today, and I'll take a couple of questions. Oh, this is a great question. How do you know if your mission statement needs to be revised? Well, I think the key is asking the questions. Can your board members recite it, for one thing? Ask your stakeholders. Ask the people who engage in your services. Does it make sense to them? If it does, you could be fine. If your fundraising is flat, it's probably not. Oh, great. Yes, we work with nonprofits all over the country. We can certainly do Zoom, any type of remote. If you want us on site, of course, there would be some travel expenses as part of that. Okay, everybody, if there are no further questions, I'm going to let you all get back to your day. Again, thank you for being here. And good luck, best wishes, and please keep us in mind if you ever need any consulting.